Hi everyone, welcome to Bat Thrift Crazy. I'm Joanne and welcome to another thrift flip video. I have 4 projects in this video to share with you, and it's a rather long video, and that's because project number 1 really gave me a run for my money. It did not turn out the way that I had envisioned, but I want to share with you the entire process of it so you can see the error that I made and how I attempted to fix it and how I just had to start over kind of from scratch. The remaining 3 projects went off kind of without a hitch. I also am using a new filming aspect, and I want to get your take on that and see if you like how I filmed these projects, if it was easier for you to see what I was doing. So give me your feedback on that if you would. So let's go ahead and get started with project number 1. So here's project number 1, which is a paper towel holder that I'm going to be turning into a hat stand. I picked this up for $1.99. I'm going to start first by removing the price sticker. Sometimes these come off easily, sometimes they give you a little bit of problems. I'm also going to be putting transfer on here, and I am fortunate in that these 2 pieces disconnect, so it's going to make putting the transfer easier because I'm going to put it on this bottom part here. This is where you would take this apart to put the paper towels on, but that is not going to be an issue for us. I'm going to clean this off very quickly. Now for this project, I'm going to be using some Waverly chalk paint. And I've already been working on some pieces, so I have it started in this little bin. And I've said before that I like to put my paint that I'm using in a separate container rather than dipping it straight into the bottle that the paint comes in. I'm going to start by painting the bottom because I do want to cover the entire piece here. And now I'll set this aside, let this dry, and then I'll come back and give it a second coat. So while I was putting the second coat on this piece here and on the bottom, I went ahead and put 2 coats on the top piece. Now I'm going to do something that I have not done before, and I'm going to put a transfer onto black. This is something new for me. I don't know how this is going to come out. And I vacillated on two different transfers here. The first is this IOD transfer, and the second is this one, which is a new transfer from H2O transfers. And from, is this Redesign DIY Simplified. I'm gonna give my honest opinion on these transfers. I'm not crazy about them. Here's the reason being. On the IOD, when you compare them to IOD transfers, the nice thing about the IOD transfer is that you peel off the white backing, the transfer is on this vellum sheet, and you can see exactly where you're placing your transfer. Let me see here. What did I do? Okay. On this particular transfer, that's not the case. You peel off this plastic backing, but the transfer itself is on this white sheet. Now they do have the transfer image here, so you can see what you're putting on, like on this, for instance, on this wood, you can see what you're putting on, but it's not as visible as with the IOD transfers. So I can get a better sense of how this is going to look on the black background. I can't get any sense at all how this is going to look on it. So with that said, I believe I'm going to use the IOD transfer for this. Now, one thing that I have forgotten and I need to go run and get is I need to run and get the transfer stick. So I will be right back. Okay. So now I do have to remember that wherever I place this transfer, there's going to be a hole. So that's going to, here's my hole right there. That is going to play a part in where I lay this. And I'd like to get as much of the flowers on as I can, or the leaves rather. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's try this. Oh no, my paint may not have been dry enough. As you can see, it's lifting the paint right off. Oh dear. I don't know that there's anything that I can do about that. I like the way that it's turning out. I like very much the way that it's turning out, but that may be entirely my fault. Although the paint feels dry to me, perhaps I should have put a sealant on it first. But I have put transfers straight onto milk paint before, and this has not happened. So I don't know why this is happening now. I want to see if I keep working at this, if it will loosen. And release. Using my finger here try and get some of that down. Okay, didn't work right there, but I'm going to try and see if I can get some of the edges off here. Okay, so I've got that. Now I do have a tool downstairs that I can try and pry some of this off with. These pieces, oh, you can't see what my apologies. Try and pry this off where the black is and see if I can't stick it down. It's a very, let's see if we can't use this maybe. Because we just have to remove these pieces. Let's see if I can't salvage this. Ah, look at this. Yep, we can lift this off. Okay. Now, let's see if we can put this onto here. And it looks like I can. Okay. Now let's see if we can do the same thing over here. I'm going to lift off the black paint. Ah, here we are. Okay, we'll lift it off from this edge. See where that's just peeling right back here. Very slowly and gently. Okay. Okay, there we are. Okay. Now that piece has to just, that piece is not going to move over there. And then we have a little piece right down there of the stem. Let's see if we can get that up. And I'm going to pull that back. Oh, it ripped. Oh, this is a tiny piece. This is going to be really hard to do. Oh, let's see if we can get it. Oh, I had that. Here we go. I think I need to. Boy, I must really, really want this on here, huh? Okay. Let me pull it up from the other side and see if that works better. Come on. Oh. This last thin piece is going to be trouble. Okay, try it from this end again. Come on. Okay, got it. stuck to my finger. Maybe I have it. I'd have had it upside down. Okay, I really don't know if I like that down there. But that is it. Now, oh no! I went to go try and fix to, let's see here. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this outside and spray with some lacquer to set this all into place. Then, once that is dry, I'm going to take a little, this is a 220, I believe, and just sandpaper that excess off. And then what I may do, I'll let you know if I do it, is I might just distress this a little bit so that it looks these little accidents here were deliberate. We'll see if that happens. But let me go take this out and just spray it with some lacquer. Okay, my friends, that was not working. When I sprayed the lacquer on, these pieces were moving around. So this is an easy fix, I think. At least I know that I like a transfer on top of black, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this transfer and I'm going to put something else on it. So I'm going to start just scraping it off. And what I'll do is put 2 more coats of black chalk paint on here. So you can see that not all thrift flips work out as you plan. Sometimes you can fix them, sometimes you can't. This was one time that I could not fix it. I tried with what I thought was going to work. It didn't. That's okay. But putting another transfer on is going to work this time. Now I've gone ahead and given this 2 fresh coats of paint, and I do hope that I have given it time enough to dry now, sufficient time to dry, and I've chosen another IOD transfer to put on here, and I'm going to try and pick the best placement for my transfer, keeping in mind where that center hole is. And hopefully this time I'll have better results. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this. To prevent that paper from getting back down there and pulling up anything that I have put down. There we go. So there it is. There's my hole in the center. So now I'm going to take it outside and spray it with some lacquer, and I'll be back and we're going to take off this excess here with our sandpaper. Okay, so I have sprayed the shellac on here, or the lacquer, I should say. And now I am very, very gingerly going to remove this, because I don't want to distress this piece, really. I just want to remove the excess transfer. But I can do some touch-up paint if I need to do that. And it looks like I may have to do that because this transfer is really, which is good this time, is really stuck on here well. Yep, so I'll have to just do a little bit of touch-ups here. Go. You can see I'm doing a downward motion. In order to kind of cut off those transfer, that lapped over. And now on the side, I'm just gently trying to remove the transfer that is really adhered very well. There's my center. Now I'm going to get my little, very small paintbrush. And just do some touch-up paint here with as steady a hand as I can get. And one more spot over here. That will be done. There we are. Now, I can finish this. By putting that back in. And this project is complete. Now, while I'm waiting for one of my other projects to finish drying, and I have my black chalk paint out, I'm going to start on this other project, which, as you can see, is some wooden coasters in this wooden container that holds them. I'm not going to be working on the coasters now, but I am going to put these aside because I can use these for a future project. What I'm going to be doing is using the holder and making a riser out of this. First, I want to start by removing the little pads, since this bottom is now going to turn into the top. I need to take those off. By scraping them, and then just with a little bit of sandpaper, I need to remove what is left over of the adhesive. Want to sand in the direction of the grain of the wood here. Let me see if I can't file off a little bit, scrape off a little bit more of this. Oh, that's working better. So sometimes when you find things like this, you kind of have to think outside of the box with them. So when I did find these coasters at the thrift store, I knew they were missing some of the coasters. There were only 3 there, but I figured I could use those coasters as wood rounds for something. And then it dawned on me that perhaps this would make a good riser. And that's what we're going to do with it now. But we're going to make it a two-toned riser. Just to give it some more interest. But I do want to get as much of this black remaining ink or adhesive off of here as I can. There we are. Just wipe that down. Get any dust off of here. Apologize for keep going out of frame. This is a new aspect, new mode that I'm trying to use here for filming, and I do need your feedback on it as to whether or not you like this projection down or if you prefer it from the side. So now what I'm going to do, I can use the larger brush to do this, the wide part of the legs here, but I need the smaller brush to get in here on this little detail. Now I'm also going to do this interior here in black. Okay, there we go. That is finished. I'm gonna, because these are dry here, I'm gonna set this upside down, put this to the side and let this dry. And then I'm gonna go back to another project. Now this project simply needs a second coat of paint. And it will be finished as well. Just again, a very steady hand around these edges here. So I'm going to finish putting the second coat of paint on all of these edges, and this will be all finished. After, of course, a coat of spray lacquer. Now I have one more transfer project for you, and that is this cake stand that I picked up on a recent thrift haul, which cost me $2. This came from the Target dollar spot, was originally $5. So I'm going to start off with removing the price sticker here, and then we're going to give it a wash. Now this does have a chip in the bottom of it, so when I apply my transfer, I'm going to make sure that that chip faces the back. So that is going to be the back to me as I am working. So let me go ahead and just give this a quick wash down here. And hopefully this will be a lot quicker and much more successful than that last transfer was. And I'm using an IOD transfer here. I can see some crazing in the top of this. So I've chosen this transfer with the hummingbird. So I kind of want to make it look like the hummingbird is going toward the flower. So I think I'm going to put the flower on first. Set that a little bit over to the side here. I'd like to get that whole flower on. There we go. Then I'll use the tool. Now, if you've not used transfers before, they're very easy to use. You just pull off that backing sheet here. Use the transfer or the stick that comes with it to go ahead and rub on this piece of vellum. That clear sheet is called the vellum. And you just keep rubbing until your transfer comes off onto your surface. And you can see it kind of turns sort of milky in color, your image. And then you just gently peel back, and making sure that all the little parts of your transfer have adhered to this surface. If they haven't, just put your sheet right back down again and keep rubbing until all of your transfer is down. There we go. Now you want to take that vellum paper and then just lightly go over your transfer. This is called burnishing, and that just helps your transfer to better adhere to your surface. Now I'm going to take my hummingbird, pull off that white paper, and see where I want to place him. And there I can get his entire body on there. Place that down. And this, when you put down this clear vellum, it's kind of sticky, so it does help it to keep in place, but you want to go ahead and use your fingers too to keep it down so it doesn't move around on you. Again, you use your stick. Rubbing the transfer down until it is completely adhered to your surface. Pulling your vellum back little by little. Making sure that transfer is down. If it's not, just lay the vellum back down again and keep rubbing until that transfer has completely released from the paper. From the vellum paper, that is. Little teeny bit right there to come off. This little head does not want to come off. Let's go down to the tail. Here he comes. Yep. Now once I reverse that and I started working from the bottom up, the head is starting to stick now. I have to be very careful with his, is that his tongue or his beak there, to make sure that that all comes off. We got it. And now I'm going to take that vellum paper and just burnish him on there. Make sure he sticks. And then I'm going to take this outside, spray it with the lacquer clear coat just to put a seal on top of it, just to make sure that this is going to adhere to the surface for me. This is not going to be food safe now, but you can put cupcakes in their containers on here, but just you wouldn't want to put cookies on here that weren't inside of something. You could put potted plants on here. You could put faux plants on here, but you wouldn't want to put just plain food on here. But let me take this outside, put a coat of lacquer on it, and this will be all finished. So our fourth and final project is going to be this red clay bowl. I had this up in my booth last year and it didn't sell. So I decided to go ahead and pull it, and I'm going to put some faux succulents in it. I think it's a really pretty bowl, and hopefully these succulents will give it some additional appeal. So first, I'm going to take some of this floral foam here. I'm not going to hot glue this into place, just in case whoever does purchase it decides they don't like the floral or the faux succulents that are in it. They can change it out without having to put too much effort into it. So I'm going to try and just push this in here. I'd like to have it level with the top of the bowl. It's a little bit tall in some places, so just using a kitchen knife, I'm going to shave off some of that. And look, I'm going to look at it from the side to see if it's where I want it to be. And as I continue on this project, you'll see why I'm doing this. Now I'm going to be putting some sand into this project, so I want to fill in with some additional foam here. So I'm just going to chunk off pieces and then just stick them in, because I don't want to waste the sand here when I can just fill this in with chunks of foam. Now I do like using this, let's see, they are calling it, I was trying to see exactly what they call this, because this has a different texture than the kind of floral foam that you buy at the Dollar Tree. What I like about this is that it does compress, so you can fill in those little gaps. But as you can see, it's very messy to work with. Now I'm going to go ahead. I've already chosen some of the faux succulents that I'm going to use. And I'm going to start to place those. And I'll show you, once I place them, how that's looking. So that's what I've decided on the placement. So this would really be something that you would look at from one angle. And all of this we're going to cover up, and I'm going to show you right now how we are going to do that. So I've got this sand, decorative sand, and my glue gun. So I decided to grab some Spanish moss here to help fill in way inside of here. That will also cut down on the amount of, sand that I end up using. So my plan really is just kind of to put that sort of in the center there to fill that gap. And this is another thing that is super messy to work with, is this Spanish moss, as it just really gets everywhere. Work with it in smaller pieces. Okay, I kind of like where that's at. Grab my scissors. Just going to give this a little bit of a haircut here. Clean it up. Okay, oh, here we go. Okay, now, next thing what I'm going to do is the open spaces here. I want to cover with some hot glue, and then I'm going to sprinkle sand on that. So let me do it on a space where you could actually see what it is I'm doing. And then I'll finish off the rest of it. My glue has to heat up a little bit more, I think. Yeah, my glue has to heat up some more, but this will give you an idea of the look that I'm after. See how you can see where that sand is? And I am going to put down a couple of paper towels because the clean sand that gets knocked off of here, I'm going to put back in my jar and reuse that. Okay, here we go. We've got some more coming out here. So again, I'm going to put see how that is looking there. There we are. Now I'm going to go around on a second pass with more of the glue gun and more of the sand and fill in, like here, the spots that I missed and places that just need some additional sand. Okay, so I think I have touched up all the spots that need it. Now I just have to clean up some of those stragglers, pieces of glue, and knock out the extra sand and save that. And this one, whoops, is all finished. So there you go. Those are the 4 projects. I wasn't kidding when I said that project number 1 really gave me a run for my money. If you had a favorite, in the comment section down below, let me know what that was. I would be very interested to hear. If you stuck it out through all 4 projects, thanks so much. And until my next video, everyone, thank you so much for watching and take very good care of yourselves. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.